Hello everybody, welcome to Let's Play Common Mission Barbarossa to Berlin. Yeah, so in the last few episodes we concentrate on the battles that went on in the northern Europe. I think the north side or north group of the German push into Russia, Operation Barbarossa. So we went to Latvia, Estonia, and then finally Russia, I think, Krovici. And they really made a lot of progress, really fast progress from what I can tell, because I started out around June of 1949, and then the last scenario was around beginning of September, but it was basically a few miles out of St. Petersburg, so they really made a lot of progress. For this scenario that I'm going to be playing, I'm going to be playing as the Russians because, I alternate between the sides, just to be fair, and cover different theater war, and want to go south, just concentrate on the group south, where I think the Germans were targeting Kiev or something. And the scenario that covers it, we have to turn the clock a bit back. And then this is the mission or scenario that I want to try, 30 turns medium, called Directive number 3. Now, the Germans issued a lot of directives, but this is directive handed down by the Russians. I think we're gonna read more into what happens in the scenario briefing. So let's go. Directive number 3, Allied attack. So yeah, playing as the Russians, June 27th, 1941. So it's a few days after the German attack, and I think a lot of Soviets were surprised. But here they were prepared, or they thought that the most of the German forces would be concentrated in the south. And the location specifically is west of Dubno, I don't know, Ukraine. South, weather clear, warm, terrain is dry, some breeze from west northwest. Oh, west to northern west. Okay, or northwest. And 30 plus, so we get to have some overtime if the battle is close enough. And the author is Ian Straw. Ian, I don't know how to read this. Straw. Background: Army Group South has not made the dramatic gains of Army Group Center and North in the first weeks of Barbarossa. Pre-war defensive planning by Stavka had indicated that the Ukraine would be the most likely axis of attack. I don't think it was a pun intended. Consequently, the Kiev Special Military District, which would be renamed the Southern Western Front, better idea, had been better equipped and prepared than any other frontier district. On the evening of June 22, 1941, the first day of Barbarossa, Field Marshal Timoshenko gave out Directive number 3, the general order to counterattack. While this order was considered unrealistic by many who received it, efforts were still made to carry out the order. Southwestern Front Commander Colonel General Karponos planned to quickly attack the forces that had penetrated between the 5th and 6th Army and restore the border. Eventually, Karponos would muster 4 mechanized corps, and under Stavka General Zhukov's, General Zhukov, guidance would attack the spearhead divisions of the German 1st Panzer Group on their flanks. The resulting actions would be among the largest tank battles of the war, with over 2,000 tanks engaged over a 70-kilometer front. So right from the get-go, the biggest tank battle ever seen. Yeah, it's basically a prelude to what would happen in the Eastern Front. A lot of battles of huge scale. Unfortunately for the Russians, the circumstances would indicate or dictate that their mechanized forces be committed in an uncoordinated and piecemeal fashion over the course of several days. That most of their accompanying infantry divisions, the attacks proved futile and were unable to halt the advancing panzer divisions. But the 8th Mechanized Corps, attacking from the south, would have some success. Together with the 15th Mechanized Corps, the 8th would overrun the logistics and supporting infantry divisions to the rear of the advancing 11th, 16th Panzer divisions and threaten them with encirclement. Okay, so we are at the head of some part of the counterattack that actually did make some progress and were successful, but of course the rest of the counterattack order didn't really fare too well. Okay, so game options, I just keep it to medium because I think Russians have it pretty bad right now. I think they have a really tough going right now, and then just adding more to the enemy is going to make things even more difficult. So I'm just going to keep 2 allies. And then I'm probably just going to follow the scenario briefings as to the difficulty or just the options. Okay, so here is command briefing. So directive number 3. Yesterday, the 8th Mechanized Corps engaged the flanks of the fascist armored spearheads. Oh, yeah, that's right from the get-go. Yeah, they have this little what do you call it, like style to the even briefings. We successfully crushed the infantry division in our way, and we are on course to encircle them in Dubno. Unfortunately, our comrades to the north have been less successful in their attacks. We received orders last night from Comrade General Zhukov to push on to Dubno, and complete the encirclement. The 34th Tank Division of Colonel Vasil'ev has been ordered by Corps headquarters to create a mobile group and spearhead the attack. Our attack earlier today has been less than successful. To the west of Dubno, the fascists still hold the plow factory, which is a significant obstacle to completing the encirclement. Corps intelligence has told us that we are facing 2 panzer divisions and some mixed infantry formations in Dubno. So 2 panzer divisions, plow factory has to be taken, and some mixed infantry, mechanized infantry formations. Yeah, I mean, this is going to be one of the harder missions, I'm sure. The 34th Tank Division has created a mobile group to spearhead the attack on Dubno. Unfortunately, the 7th Motorized Division has been delayed in deploying with us, so there will be limited infantry to accompany the armor. Okay, so 1 motorized infantry company, 3 infantry platoons near full strength, okay. Support weapons platoon, under strength, 2 BA-10 armor cars, okay, so these guys are the recon vehicles, and BT-7 platoons of 4 tanks each, 8 tanks in total. The BT-7s are, I mean, I think you've seen in I think second scenario they played, and they're pretty fast tanks, but they're not really well armored, so need to be careful. BT-5s, probably the same thing, and some T-34s finally, some T-34s appearing. And I believe that T-34s really did got involved in the battle in the beginning of Barbarossa. So T-34s are a revolutionary tank at the time when it was introduced. Definitely, it did surprise a lot of Germans. There are no reserves, Major. In fact, since the core artillery has been adequately deployed, there will be no artillery support either. Air support has been sporadic because we've been unable to coordinate with our air-armed comrades. So no artillery support, no air support, and this is supposed to be a defensive battle. So basically we are almost playing the role of offense in a counterattack without any kind of measures that would have favored us in any defensive battle. So yeah, this is kind of stacked against us. So let's see what the army offers, what the roll call will show us of the troops, of the mechanized units, and other things, other fun things here. Okay, so we have right away a BT5s. Okay, these are the BT5s. As you can see, not really a lot of armor in the front, and we have a whole platoon of them. Yeah, so this is the BA-10s, the recon vehicle, and this is another BT-7. Okay, so these are a bit better armored, and as you can see, all of them are green. And I'm sure the Germans will have a lot of anti-tank weaponry here at the plow factory and Dubno, outskirts of Dubno. So you don't have to take the entirety of Dubno, but also only the outskirts. So 3 objectives in total, as you can see by the flags here. And the plow factory is in a very sorry state. No plow to be found. They probably moved all the plows to the rural mountain regions or something. Ukraine is supposed to be the breadbasket of the Soviet Union at the time, so there had to be a lot of plows, and these probably are recruited from the plow drivers. I mean, really, no offense. Things were really desperate. They have to get everybody who could operate any kind of machinery. Okay, so here is our eastern flank, guys. BT-7s, as you can see, there are a lot of BTs. Yeah, BT-7s and they're light tanks. And here are the T-34s with some infantry on top of it. So this is new tank that was supplied. And by 1941, I think they had probably produced maybe a few hundred, few thousand. And 75 millimeter gun, 76 millimeter gun, and I don't really know a lot of tanks, to be honest with you, but these tanks had advantages. But these are conscript level experience tanks, so first shell basically splintering, not even destroying it, splintering across the bow here or across the chassis in front of the glacis armor is going to scare them to basically retreat and be broken. These are the greens, so these will fare a bit better, but these two, yeah, these are basically working on borrowed time, and there's really no I don't know what the condition is. It doesn't really tell about the condition, whether this has some kind of problems with its manufacturing. I think some of the early Shermans or Grant do note that their weaknesses are in manufacturing sometimes, which means that if the shell hits the tank from the side, it may ignite the tank because the shell has been stored in a burnable spot somehow near the turret or something, near the gun. And then there's a real big deficiency that is well known that Shermans might just blow up or something. Yeah, so these are our greatest asset, and it has some infantry on top of it. Supposedly these are taken by the Germans, so we need to take it first. And then I think we need to probably think about lying in wait somehow, because obviously you cannot see across this little forest. And then use that to our advantage, because if the enemy, this is just my initial view of things, if the enemy comes here to reinforce the plow factory, we've just wait around here before having a clear shot. I mean, we have to probably move around here in order to get a good shot. This is apparently the highest point in the map, and I think, let me see. Can I really see exactly how high this land or the region is, or this little piece of land is? But yeah, I think the plow factory is on top, so the Germans can see almost everything. As you can see by the crater, has been some battles going on even before I arrived here. And here are, okay, so we have some mortars. Some of them under strength, as for these guys, for example. So maybe I just have to stay here and then provide covering fire as the rest of these guys move on and try to take the plow factory from the Germans. Yeah, I think most of these guys will be shielded from Dubno because of the presence of the factory, but there might be some Germans hiding here as well, approach from the north. So let me just think. Yeah, they can see everything basically. And there's some infantry here. I don't know why they are here. They probably are the guys who's going to attack and try to take it. Infantry support, if you will. Okay. So these are green, all of them green. So yeah, this is not... Yeah, infantry, there are some regular guys, but the tanks are all green. So we need to think about a strategy to take this plow factory first before launching attacks to take this town, take these two flags. And yeah, it seems to be pretty well. I mean, if the Germans occupy these buildings, it's going to be very well entrenched and they'll be experienced. So it's going to be difficult once again, but we need to use tanks in mass. That's probably what they want me to do. Yeah, so since the T-34s has the biggest chance of surviving this, I might just amass the T-34s together with the BT-7s and then just rush the factory. And these guys will approach from the west and then test out whatever resistance, whatever shots are fired from this side before actually coming in. And these guys will be the main attacking guys or direction, and these guys will provide cover and take some opportunistic advances shielded by these tanks. Okay. Yeah, I think these guys will I think these guys will. All right. So who is the leader here? Take me to your leader. Okay, these guys. All right. So let me just place one of these guys here. Let me just see. Place this guy right here, and then see how things look. So we can see everything from this elevated ground. So I think this ground is the key. This ground is the key because it passes this really weird soft ground. I don't know what this actually does to the tanks, but I think nothing good. And then it will probably have the effect of not only rail playing havoc on the the tracks, but also have the intended effect for the Germans. That is intended effect of getting everybody stuck here basically because they don't want to cross into soft ground, right? Can they move into soft ground? I guess they can, but it's gonna slow them down. So since we have to coordinate a lot of these attacks, I think we just skip the whole this area, skip the whole thing, and then just draw the closest line to plow factory, along with the infantry support or fire, and we try to just head straight into the factory using the T-34s, which might provide a bit of armor to survive at least a few turns to see exactly what we are facing in the factory. Cannot see anything right now, but maybe if we are close enough using the BT-10s. And BT-10 will try to work its way into the soft ground and see whatever is happening. These guys will have to wait. Just see line of sight here. Line of sight. Yeah, you can see everything basically. So at least these guys will be yeah. So I'm gonna hide some of these BT-7s behind this tree. I'm gonna place I think one of them here. Yeah, but then these guys will be shielded from this side. More or less shielded from this northern side. This guy just place right here. And then the infantry, okay, so let's see what we have here. So infantry, HQ. Yeah, they're basically often tumble infantry that's earmarked to, advance. And I think they're going to soft ground. And then they'll be able to see everything. Yeah, so this is a wood fence, okay. This is track. Okay, wood fence, track, can I see here? They're shielded. Okay, most likely they're shielded here. And they are also shielded from being fired upon. So this is not bad starting area, but I think I could do a bit better by placing them in the bush and a bit closer. And the Germans will have some artillery support, I think. Yeah, so tank will have a watch. And they will try to rush this side. If these guys have some trouble or get hit, and they get hit pretty fast. The tracks will probably play a lot of havoc on these tanks because simply some of them will break down. I don't know as to the reliability of the BT-7s, BT-5, sorry, but some of the tanks will break down, I'm sure. Okay, so T-34s will force its way. These guys have all the... Yeah, they can see everything. Borders also will be able to see. These guys not be able to see, alright. You see around here, so that's pretty good, that's not bad. Okay, scatter trees and rotate here. So these guys will have some infantry on top of the tanks, so it's going to act as a um, bit of a transport, and we're going to move really fast to basically take the plow factory very quickly. I think that's probably the way to at least hold down the most important objective in the sector or in the map. Okay, so BT-10 is going to think start here. I'm gonna shield. Yeah, it's gonna be shielded. These guys will start from here. Yeah, they can still shoot here, but then they'll not be able to get targeted across this forest. They have some guy over here, yeah, on top of it. Yeah. So these guys are, yeah, this guy needs to move. Can he embark? Probably not. Yeah, but this guy will have to be moved, and also this guy will have to move. Yeah, I think I just keep them here or here because I think from the very start I think we have good targets. Okay, so can you see everything here? No, right? It's blocked. So we need to go around here in order to be targeted by anything that is over here. Can still target the plow factory. Yeah, we showed it from the northern edge of the map. Not bad, not really bad. And they are in communication and everything. Okay. So we're going to hit only one side of the factory first, but then hopefully these guys will come around and then help. Alright, so how about here? Yeah, we're just going to go the same time. Anybody here that is on the tank? No. Yeah, so this is like... I mean, this is just setting up for the one big push from the start. So, I mean, first 10 turns in most scenarios is going to be setting up and, you know, filling out the opponent. The computer, the Germans, the so-called fascist. But here, this scenario will offer, I think, just a lot of battle from the get-go, because you know plow factory is right in front of my my guys, and then let me just check here. It's going to be this is like ruins, so there'll be some Germans here, and to really take this objective, you gotta just do close quarters combat, and I can see how this could be very difficult because a lot of areas, you know, snooping areas. There could be some snipers here as well, and maybe some even tanks hiding among this vast area. That is the destroyed plow factory, unfortunately. And then it's pretty cool because they have a train tracks that supposedly moved and transported the plows to the behind the lines before the Germans would take it and use it for themselves. Yeah, so I think this is what I think is a pretty sound plan, but who knows? Okay, nobody? I cannot see anybody. Okay, so let's move. First 10 turns. So for the first turn, I'm just trying to get the fillers out, and then yeah, just using the BA-10s to recon the area first from two sides. And then these guys will be following the recon a bit. This guy will not move yet. But then we have all our eyes on the factory right now, so let's just see what happens with the BA-10s. We're just going to try to make contact, and then I think this is going into the lowered area so that maybe hold down. And this guy will also have a watch on the other side because they have a line of sight to the factory. Yeah, so let's see what happens. Yeah, you can see we did find somebody here. We are getting shot. Okay, so the green guys. I'm worried about the green guys. I don't know where the shot is coming from. Oh, okay. Yeah, now we're shooting from multiple angles, and this guy is the lucky guy. Yeah, lucky German guy right here in the second floor. Getting hit a lot of times. I guess we need to keep them honest a bit and now move with the T-34s in mass. So this guy is in contact with the infantry, so that's why they stop moving, but they probably need to move. Oh, these guys are providing fire. They're not even suppressed. They're not suppressed at all. So we found one guy, one German guy, who's holding these guys at bay. I think we need to move a bit. And the German is obviously targeting the... Oh my goodness, this is just crap. This guy has been hit and now bailing out. I don't know how it was possible that it was hit such a far distance and then yeah, now it's bailing out because it's green. Are not really capable of fighting. He's bailing out right now because he got hit and now he's suffering some losses. Yeah, so this guy is having some kind of a knocked out already our B10. That is not good. Okay, so what I'm trying to do here is to get these guys to shoot this main gun infantry, providing covering fire for these guys. Now trying to move up pretty fast and get into hunt mode as they reach the soft ground, and some of them will be having the hull down so that only the turret is going to be visible to the enemy, and hopefully better cover or be able to use this area to maybe track and to perhaps identify more enemies before I commit these guys to move fast and then deliver the infantry. And this guy is still keep trying to move contact using this lowered area as a bit of a cover. And this guy trying to still look and then identify even more guys as they appear, and they surely appear. Yeah, I was surprised that B10 here was knocked out. Yeah, it's definitely a very light vehicle, almost maybe a half track, and the Germans definitely brought some heavy machine guns. Okay, so one of the tanks only have made it to the soft ground, so it seems like this guy's knocked out. Yeah, taking cover. Maybe I can use these guys as a bit of a scout. Maybe bring them over to this forest, but I don't know whether that's going to really work. So these guys have been pummeling the German and finally suppressed him a bit. As you can see, he's lying down. Yeah, so what I can do is to wait until these guys all move and get into position, and now finally allow these guys to move a bit forward. Yeah, so they're going to advance using this BA-10's cover. Okay, so keep firing at this suppressed infantry while we finish moving into position on this side. The most important part of this turn is, of course, the advance is now attempted by the infantry. I think this is a bit too long, so I'm going to just try to get to the nearest crater and then advance crater to crater. Yeah, and now I've seen everything. Using crater to advance the infantry. Maybe this is a designated space for German artillery? Who knows? But I'm just sending one infantry here in order to find out how to expect. Alright guys, come over here, it's not too bad. Not too bad at all. Yeah, apparently this guy disappeared, so we might have to move. These guys are moving fast. Yeah, definitely slows them down. Soft ground definitely slows them down. Let's come mud. Okay, so the German, I don't know whether he dropped into the ground to the first floor after being hit by the tank or something. I don't know how it really works, but yeah, he's now shooting from a location that we cannot really see, so the tank might have to close the distance a bit. Can you actually see? Is the problem? I mean, it says the enemy infantry, well, you probably targeted using the area fire command just to make sure these guys are getting shelled. And maybe now this is time to move these guys under the watchful guise of these guys who's now lost this target. Yeah, 111 high explosive shells, so we definitely need to put a lot of shells into this. I mean, a lot of shells to fighting. We just have to keep firing, because with their experience level, they will have rather short lives, not gonna last a lot of turns, so we really need to, yeah, basically keep firing at all times, basically. We're going to move these guys to contact. Let's just get them all. Let's get them all moving. I think soft ground is also going to, it's gonna slow them down a bit. This guy's going to crawl, yeah, sneaking into cover. Yeah, hold down. Turn 4, VA10 here. He's going to move out of this slope area in order to really view what is going on here. I mean, if the Germans are still hiding, I don't think you'll be able to identify any targets, but I think this is our best chance to see what is actually going on. This guy is advancing to the crater. And now, I'm still keeping these guys close, but in the next turn we need to make a move using T-34s to deliver the troops. Yeah, hopefully it's gonna work, but I don't know, I cannot really guarantee anything, so the troops will probably arrive here using T-34s in disembark and quickly advance toward this rubble, and then using them as a vanguard, this guy will try to attempt to cross as well, while these guys on the left will also try to cross the soft ground and then prepare for possible attack on the flank. Now this guy, since I think that this is going to impede our progress when we really need to act, I'm wondering whether I should move these guys as well. I think I moved this guy forward a bit, but I think I need to do this at the same time using all the tanks. So I keep this guy in reserve for right now, but might need to move these guys together forward and then try to attack from the flank, support this infantry. This guy's targeting here, yeah, to see whether there are any Germans coming from the north. But first, infantry is going to see what is, if they can actually find more target defenders. It's going to be very tightly held, so I really Yeah, I think I cannot really guarantee anything or take it for granted. Yeah, let's see what happens. Yeah, there's still up there. And it's shooting main gun now. I think it thinks that it's close enough to shoot main guns now. Or, oh, it gave it, oh no, okay, so B10 has found somebody. Again, this guy. Yeah, got hurt. He's hurt. They finally found the trader, and now T-34 is now shooting. Okay, so mortar is able to target this defender guy. Yeah, a lot of guys are shooting at this. Maybe overpowering them somehow. And this guy's now moving. It's going to be a long track though. Yeah, I think broken, nobody broken, nothing. Okay, so the tanks are doing okay. I do hear sometimes them unbuttoning to see what is going on before going back into fire. So just like Panzer IICs, these operated similarly. The tank commander pokes his head out, see what is going on, and maybe signal other tanks, and then steps back inside the turret to fire or give instructions to move the tank. So it's a bit involved process. These guys wouldn't have to do that. They're all buttoned. They'll be buttoned up and then progress very fast now the next turn. So another German squadron defender has been identified. This time much closer to us. Not really much closer. Different area of the power factory behind the door. And this guy got clipped, but safely was able to make it to the crater. So he's going to have some kind of protection. Surprisingly, these are not really the craters that we can go to. Yeah, all of these pock marks are not deep enough to be considered a crater. Some of them are, such as these ones, these ones, these ones, but not all of them. Very few of them, in fact, so I cannot really reliably use it to drop off the infantry. So need to keep the pressure going, and then drop them off at the rubble. If I'm to really break the door down here on the front steps and then try to take over at least one part of the factory while using the other guys that have made it across the soft ground in order to advance their own way toward the factory. So I need to use this main gun perhaps and then try to help. Yeah, I'm going to also use these guys as a bit of a help. Main gun. Hopefully it doesn't clip this guy. Checking the original size here. I think it's going to pass over. Yeah, it's B10 is in rather recessed ground, so it's going to be hauled down and not really seen by the rest of the Germans. It's still hit. Can still hit here, so I'm going to use a main gun while these guys keep watch. Okay, so this is going to be, well, I mean, the most important move I'm going to make in this scenario so far. I'm going to use a T-34 to move really fast and then disembark these guys after the tank have moved. Yeah, these guys. And the infantry will proceed into the rubble and fight out in the factory. While the guys in the back will start to move also if things go well here. So next turn these guys also start move. These guys, while the machine guns will cover for us. There's some Maxim machine gun guys here that are able to cover for us, as well as some mortars that is going to have some visibility, line of sight for this area. So it's going to be our landing zone. These guys I could make them hunt. Because of this guy is now buttoned down inside the turret, he's not able to give effective command of the rest of the tanks in the squad. That's what happens if you don't have radio in your tanks, I guess. Same as these guys. Commander is now buttoned up, so you cannot really see anybody else. Well, I guess they can actually see right beside them, but they cannot really radio any orders. Well, since this guy is able to still see, able to give some command, and just checking out what any special abilities or special attributes this guy has, and apparently it doesn't have anything. Just, you know, kind of gives more cohesion to the effectiveness. Maybe they can act a bit faster, because these guys took one whole turn before moving into the soft ground. This guy acted fast, but then had to wait one turn before these guys actually lumbered along, just like, you know, like lambs following a shepherd. I think it's going to be the same thing for this guy. This guy will move forward first, and then followed by these guys. So I think I did this wrong. I need to make this guy go fast as possible to the nearest of the factory before this guy gets off, because this guy will arrive first and then just take up space, and then the rest of it just take some time before moving. And then if the infantry disembarks right here first, for example, off the tank, then it's going to be shot from this guy. So need to be very close, fairly close, and by then I think the tank will be able to also shoot. Okay, so let's go. No need to really wait. Yeah, now he's getting shot. The thing is, I need more support fire. And I think the Germans have curiously... Oh, there's another guy revealed. Yeah, they're kind of not really moving at all. Oh no, this guy's being hit. Shaken already. Yeah, this guy now starts moving. Anybody on the right side? Nope. Nobody on the right flank right now. Keep shooting. Yeah, now getting hit. It's pinned. But then this guy is not there to apply some pressure. And then this guy is now trying to advance. Safely arrived, but as you can see, this guy didn't move at all. So, yeah, to provide some kind of a covering fire very, very fast. So, waiting on the infantry to arrive at the factory. Advancing with the tanks a bit in order to target this guy, and basically this guy is going to be suppressed, and if he isn't, it's going to have a lot of problems moving the infantry into the factory. I probably need to adjust so that this guy is not moved too far into the factory itself after disembarking. So just need to broach this area into the rubble. And we found some guy, another defender guarding here right in the middle of the rubble. So we better target with one more tank, because I think we might be under fire from this section. So even if I arrive here, I think we'll be vulnerable from multiple fire from here and also here. This guy will be out in the open inside the factory, so going to be not as bad. This guy is in the... yeah, right here. This guy is in the rubble itself, so it's going to be difficult to move across from moving the tanks around and then moving the infantry around in the open air. We're going to transition pretty fast into the inside the factory, where close quarters combat is going to come into focus. There will be more Germans hiding anywhere, but yeah, maybe this guy needs to unbutton. There's 4 guys inside the vehicle, so might be able to open up and then see still what is going on. So I'm going to unbutton this guy. Let me see, open up, and then just see what is going on. also while firing. MG is blocked, so I think if I use main gun, is yeah. I mean, it might go inside once again after getting shot, but eyes peeled. Okay, so these guys removed definitely 5 seconds in 5 seconds, 3 seconds. So yeah, it's going to be very interesting. How is this going to all affect? This guy is not. This guy's still advancing, but maybe he should pause a bit, like 10 seconds or 20 seconds or so before trying to advance. I think better if we advance at the same time using the rest of the troops. Okay, here goes nothing. This guy will make it across, yeah, and then this guy is fighting out across 300 meters with this guy, and there's some other guy in the top of the factory. Maybe the Soviet the infantry is also be able to ascend the stairs somehow. There's some stairs here. I don't know whether it's actually working. I don't know whether it's actually connecting to the second story, but I think it's divided into sections. So in this section, because there is second floor, we'll be able to climb up. But here, because it's all like destroyed, there's really no second floor. Okay, so let's go. Yeah, and this tank is shooting back. Hopefully he's able to take some, suppress it enough. These tanks are not moving. Yep, don't crash into each other, guys. Oh, yeah, another guy found. Got hurt. This guy's running. Got routed somehow. Yeah, also being a bit... Wow. Yeah, we are now advancing right away. It's different. Thankfully, this guy is now under... This guy is routed, so we can only focus on this guy. This guy is going nowhere. And this guy have not arrived yet to the destination. He's kind of fidgeting around. And this guy is made it finally to the rubble. They are able to fight. This guy is not doing too well, not for this guy, but at least 2 squadrons made it. Alright, so 7th turn. If things are going as has been going in the last few turns, we'll just keep trying to get a dominance on this side of the factory, while the infantry is going to entrench themselves into the rubble and keep advancing and trying to hit this guy and many other defenders still unaccounted for. I'm sure there are more inside this factory hiding. So we might have to use infantry to clear these guys out and then get the tanks near the factory so that it limits the visibility while still be able to cover for our infantry. Now this guy has been pretty helpful so far, and they still provide some fire. This time I think this guy will try to use a main gun over here in order to suppress this defender. Has been found in the last turn. T-34s will also join the fray, and then this guy is panicking. Hopefully it makes back to the nearest crater. I cannot really control him. Hopefully he's able to make it. And I'm just sending this guy in order to see whether using the legs to advance toward the factory is actually a possibility, since the tanks are already here trying covering for the more advances from the infantry to be made from this side. Here we are just kind of standing pattern and still trying to provide some kind of a distraction to keep this guy at bay. Okay, so I think we took out all the defenders on the southern side of the factory, at least. And we try to exploit it by getting these guys into position. And then funneling more infantry into this open area where now we have breached. So this guy will sneak a bit into the factory rubble, while this guy is able to also sneak a bit further in. Even though it seems like he's able to see across these open areas inside the factory, isn't able to. So it's all blocked through the rubble, so we need to sneak across in order to view what is actually inside. I think it also applies to the tanks. So tanks will not be able to see more than what the infantry now sees. So yeah, it's going to be all close quarters combat. You need to make sure that more and more infantry is able to make it in. So I'm going to do that. Make sure that these guys advance. Yeah, so don't need to sneak for these guys, I think. We are able to now advance quickly. But we're going to also use the crater in order to make sure that we have somewhere to actually take cover if something goes awry. Then more and more of these guys can now advance. Also wondering whether I can call the tanks back, some of the tanks back in reverse, and then use the embark function once again. It's another big move by the infantry. More and more infantry now funneled into this area. Rubble of the factory is cleared. And these guys will sneak further inside, and then some of the tanks will just stay here. I think it's relatively safe from the immediate German threat, both armor and men. And we'll cover more and more ground and then see if we can take this by force, by close quarters combat. And yeah, just as long as we can clear the middle of the factory, I think we'll be okay. After that, we need to decide whether to take here or here. I think we need to take at least here, set up some mortars, and then machine guns, and see whether we can attack this side. And by then, maybe the Germans will receive reinforcements or something to... I don't know, I haven't seen any German armor yet, the tank, for example, but maybe it's gonna come sooner or later. Still under German control. Yeah, we see something. Oh, maybe I can cancel this area target. Yeah. Oh, okay, so something knocked it out. Okay. I don't know exactly why it is, but find out why it was. More infantry, perhaps? Not so sure. Yeah, we do find some. I think we do have some. Exactly where this guy is. Yeah, we have some guys now in immediate danger, I think, because of the knocked out BA-10 right here. Okay, so the BA-10, last of our recon vehicle, has been knocked out. It was one of the light armor cars that were targeting us, and there's really no guarantee he's not going to trying to flank us from this side. So these tanks will have to have their eyes open in the eventual encounter. So it seems like the Germans are being bolstered from Dubno itself. I'm going to move one tank, or both of these tanks, now to join these guys, so that they'll be able to counteract any of the incursions on this side, this flank. I don't know whether they'll be able to do it against the glut of German panzers, like Panzer IIs or Stuck 3s or something like that. But they may have to act pretty fast now in order to help these guys advance now. So using fast command, so the infantry is right here. It's open space, so might be caught. Using more main guns. Yeah. Main guns to blast it while these guys advance. Sneak. This guy is not able to see until they reach the edge of the rubble, it seems. And they're not getting tired yet, but they need to move faster. So just giving advanced commands. Do not sneak. Use advance. This guy is from BA-10. We have to see what happens. Trying to identify each and every target inside the factory, while the infantry is going to filter inside the factory and then move in mass, basically swarming the Germans if anybody remains, and then try to clear the factory as fast as possible. Now that I think the advanced German Panzer party seems to have arrived and promptly knocked out one of the recon tanks. So we need to make sure that we are prepared for them. Yeah, so from here it's kind of not good. But here, I think we'll be able to achieve some more effectiveness. So I think, I will get these guys, all of these guys, to go here. And then to kind of impromptu trench. And then try to, from here, rotate. And be able to fire from here, if possible. I mean, this guy's still going into position, and it's pretty close to where the BA-10 was. And then maybe if I am able to spare some tank, I can use these as a transport for the infantry. And these guys might need to move up along with the infantry to cover one flank at least. So I'm gonna send maybe this guy in order to close the distance a bit, and then whether he's able to target a bit better. I'm not going to commit all the tanks right now, but one of these guys. Still able to fire at this guy, so no need to hurry right now. So yeah, we still have these guys. Machine gun, mortar. Yeah, so mortar and some nice machine gun. Mostly heavy weapons guys. Yeah, so what I want to do is actually get these guys here after we take the factory. Yeah, a lot of machine gun fire. So it's moving fast. Okay, some mortar from the Germans. These guys are arriving soon. And I hear some infantry firing machine gun. Taking cover, yeah, they got fired upon somewhere. Yeah, they found somebody. So they're everywhere, basically. There has been some very interesting development here. I think that German armored car that knocked out BA-10 is still having its eyes out on this side, and then was able to target this lead tank for the BT-7 squad. Now this guy's now moving, but I'm going to stop this guys right now because it'll be further under fire from the... It's going to come under fire from the German armored. So what I'm going to do is going to reverse this guy quick as possible, and then try to face it with its thickest part of the armor toward the suspected location of the German armored car. Now this guy thankfully wasn't really damaged. It's still okay. Thankfully, if it was a green or conscript level tank, might have run away, bailed out. But thankfully, it was still okay with it. Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. It was just a sight. Maybe it did flake the armor somewhat, but yeah, I mean, it's okay. It's doing okay. It's doing fine. So I think what I'm going to do is try to move the contact a bit. It's still able to maybe target it with its hull down. And I think I'm going to give the order for this guy also to rotate. Do the contact into the deepest part of the trench here, the shallow ground, and then rotate also in order to, fire. Yeah, right away. Turn 10, so 1/3 of the way into this scenario. Very, I think, definitely more at stake here, because I'm sure that there will be German tanks coming along, 1st Panzer Division, trying to steamroll us like they did probably some of the forces they already met on the road to Dubno. Fighting for the factory now, and then I think the tanks will also converge at the same place. We have to like play hide and seek or something, trying to work the angles like this tank right now. I think I need to rotate it a bit to the right. Yeah, trying to work the angles and get the advantage that we need. Also using this shallow area in order to fire, in order to kind of get the tanks entrenched a bit. This guy is reversing. Yeah, to be able to get to the edge of the map, and then maybe they can work their way across into the shallow ground or recessed ground. The infantry is going to advance still. One of them now plotting HQ, trying to advance and get the troops moving. Alright, so this guy is also going to join this guy in order to get this little sliver of space in its target. This guy is on the other side, maybe preparing for any of the German incursions on this side. And there's some 3 identified German troops now facing the west. Maybe if we can flank them from rear, is going to be pretty good. Here we're going to be exposed to German elements from the town and also the any of the defenders there. Yeah, get to the factory, guys, and then... Oh, you're fighting pretty well. Oh boy, here we go. Don't hit no serious damage, okay. Alright, turning to face the thickest part. Please get hit. Maybe the experience is showing. Okay. Alright, so we are in a duel now, tank duel basically. This guy, I kind of had a feeling that this guy was trying to target. Oh, this guy too, yeah, this guy also saw using the mortar now, so these guys are alerted and now going to converge on this sector maybe because we are now shooting at them. Thankfully, I mean, I don't know whether I should be thankful, but the tank here was able to identify this guy, and now this guy is targeting this guy, and everybody in this town is now alerted and roused. And perhaps as they filter out, maybe this guy is able to take some pot shots, any shots opportunity.